mountain.
Sorry.
Thank you for joining us, folks. It's Two Lonely Boys in a Canoe. Here's Gravel Shits.
A.K.A. Captain America.
Chris Evans, if you haven't figured it out by yet.
Also, he's secretly...
And there's this other asshole, this guy here. What's his name? I don't know his name. What's your name?
Mr. Fucking Disappointment.
Mr. Motherfucking Disappointment.
Nah, that was my
A.K.A.
last
Trevor Ahlstrom, folks.
Or Gorgeous George.
No. Mr. Fucking Disappointment.
That was at Land's. That's what the boss would call me. He's like, Trevor, you're out working everybody, but you talk to girls, and it's going to get you in trouble. And guess what happened?
You got in
trouble.
trouble.
Girls. He called that shit.
Hey, he saw it coming from a mile away.
He did. He's like, Trevor, you're a badass, but you got trouble with women. I'm like, what else?
You don't know shit, boss. I'm going to get some pussy, and I'm going to outwork all these guys.
And that's what I did.
You're right.
I did both those things. Got pussy and I worked everywhere. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but then you got fired.
But I have a better job now.
It happens.
So I have a better job now, so it worked out.
Thanks for joining us, folks. We're coming at you live on a Thursday. It's about 7:30-ish.
The
Sun's
sun
getting ready to go down. It's a little cloudy out, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice midday. Or not midday. What is it?
Evening dusk.
Evening dusk. Yeah, evening dusk. The dusks. The Dusker Bunnies.
The Dusker Bunnies.
What are you looking for?
My phone, because we're going to do it out for you in a bit.
Trevor's looking for his phone, folks.
I found it.
He's not prepared. Talks all this shit about coming prepared, and now here he is, unprepared.
Sorry, I'm slacking as a Boy Scout over here, bud.
Yeah,
sorry.
where is your fucking survival knife?
It's on my pants.
See, it's already. Yeah, see, you got a problem. I got one right in my back pocket. Survival knife.
Good for you, bud.
Yes, I'm ready to survive with my no shirt, no shoes.
Yeah. You'll be out there, Les Shroud, Survivor Man.
Limited cigarettes. You imagine?
Oh wait, this is how we're gonna gather fresh water. Is that Newport pack right there? You're just hauling just a tiny Newport amount of fresh water, like 200 feet up this dangerous ass cliff.
I would be so down for a survival type expedition trip until I ran out of cigarettes. I would be so fucking down for
That's
it.
when you're the bitchy black woman. Where
No,
you're like,
not even a bitchy black woman. I'm just fucking pissed. I'm just mad at the world.
You're like, Chris, but there's
I don't give a fuck.
Chris,
This sucks. I'll be like pissed off at everything. I'll be like, this air sucks.
Like, Chris, there's blackberries, bud. Well, that's fine, but it just ripped my arm.
How do we smoke them? I'll be like, give me some tobacco.
We'll cut them in tiny pieces, Chris.
I would try to fashion some things into smokables. I would start thinking about stuff I could smoke.
That's a good topic. I actually, when I was in the wilderness for a while,
shit for a smoking
foraging.
bonfire.
When I was in the wilderness for a while, we couldn't smoke weed. I actually smoked lupin, which worked. You take the leaves and you cut it up and you smoke them. And we literally, when we were out there, I found a fucking can and I fashioned a pipe out of a can.
What is it called?
Lupin. Lupin has purple flowers. It was used by indigenous tribes in Northern California. It was used for like stomach aches and other issues, and they would smoke it for their own type of therapy. And when you smoke it, you actually do get high, and it's similar to weed, but
weird. Similar like chemical reaction.
Yeah, I remember smoking it, and this boss was like, "Trevor, you smoking weed?" And I showed him when I was smoking, but it just made me. Lupin made me loopy a little bit.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What we don't know is that you were slowly poisoning yourself.
Hell yeah. Well, I lived another 8 years afterwards, so.
It was weird, man. I remember going to this dude's house when I was back in Florida. I was hanging out with all these little drug kids and the drug dealers, and it was fucked up because the parents were buying drugs from the kids, and the kids were supplying the parents' fucking addiction. But we went over to this one dude's house, his uncle, and he had made some tea from Cuba. It's like rat poison tea or some shit.
Oh,
there's like a plant that if you cut it up and you boil it and you make it into a tea, basically, it is like a hallucinogen. But I took like 2 sips of that shit and I didn't feel anything. I got home, I drove home, and when I got home and went to bed, it felt like I kept waking up in my dream.
Damn.
Like, instantly, I felt like the world slowed down to, like, microseconds. And I felt like I woke up, and it felt like I started to get out of bed, and it felt like just everything in the world was slowed down really hard. But, yeah, no, eventually I did actually wake up and realized I was just hallucinating. And it was pretty nuts.
That's crazy.
So, don't go eating rat poison, folks.
Yeah, no, don't eat rat poison. I know people around the world have different ways of
getting fucked
up. Like, and one of the scariest drugs I've ever heard of is crocodile in Russia, where they take degraded petroleum, and then they also use Vicine to activate it, and it literally will rot your flesh off in 24 hours. It's considered one of the most dangerous forms of drugs, and it's a hard street drug.
Wow.
And yeah, it's like, imagine heroin but used with a petroleum base, and you use Vicine to activate it, and it literally, I've seen videos and documentaries on Vice too, it makes people's flesh drop off. And if they don't die, they literally have a piece of their body that can fall off. It's called the zombie drug. It's a real thing. Crocodile with a K. Shit is terrifying.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, that's the scary. I've seen some different street drugs, but that is one of the scary. It has to be one of the scariest drugs. And it's been in Russia, and I'm sure with the war, especially in Ukraine and everything else, where it's a poor man's drug, people are in a sort of dystopian sort of reality right now.
Yeah.
I bet you there's a guy or two somewhere on the Russian-Ukrainian border probably doing that shit. Right now.
There was a girl on Intervention that was pretty crazy. She was doing a computer duster. And, dude, she was doing, like, cans of that shit.
Walking on sunshine.
Yeah, no, she had this whole thing where she was out in front of an Office Depot or Office Max or some shit. And she went in there to buy a bunch of duster. And she just went into her car afterwards and just started huffing it.
Right in the parking lot?
Yeah, and she's sitting there talking to the guy that's videotaping her, and she goes, "It feels like I'm walking on sunshine." Like, she's just so gone, man. I think in the end she ended up getting clean, which is the good side of it, but I don't know. That show, Intervention, that's a pretty fucking crazy show. You see all the fucking crazy drug addicts doing that shit.
That's pretty crazy.
Come and sit down, man.
Yeah.
Trevor's trying to walk around for some reason, folks. I don't understand him.
Because Dr. Fauci told me to do it.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. So how was your day, Chris? Do a real quick catching up on the day.
It's alright. Sometimes negative people try to be negative. But you gotta stay positive, man. Don't let negative people bring you down with their bullshit. Long story short. But, yeah, no, an okay day.
So you got home, you survived from work.
I survived the trip home.
Day
what about you?
Store. It was good. It was actually yesterday was a really rough day because the air compressor went down, and I saw old rednecks running around like chickens with their heads cut off for 4 to 5 hours until they got it fixed. And I would.
It's hard to work without compressors, especially in a factory.
It was a metal shop, not a factory, but it's a metal shop, and a lot of the tools run on pneumatic pressure.
Yeah.
So,
air pressure.
So the main one was down, so we had to use a backup one, and I had to help this electrician set it up, and I had to move a bunch of shit. So today was a lot smoother.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, man. So what's on the old agenda for today, sir?
We got an album. We have a team album review because we both heard it.
Yeah.
The Black Dahlia Murder, and then we also have a team movie review. Swiss Army Man. We got current events.
Okay.
I'm gonna briefly talk about the Rhododendron Festival.
Ooh, I got one. I got a current event that'll fuck you up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really, this is
I'll
really
save
good, by
it.
the way.
Yeah, I rolled a blunt.
Good job.
Blunt's awesome.
Very smooth.
So yeah, what do you got here for the Black Dahlia Murders, Trevor?
Yeah, Black Dahlia Murder is a deathcore band. And it's where they make hardcore of death metal. So you have bands like Black Dahlia Murder is obviously one of the big ones. Suicide Silence, Whitechapel.
Yeah.
All big name bands that have played at big stages and have creeped over. And you'll see if you're around enough younger people, like you'll see it. Nice. But anyways, so yeah, Black Dahlia Murder is the band. We both listen to it. We both like them. And then the album is Noctural. And I'll play you a minute of their stuff.
Yeah, one of the things I did like about it was the screamo was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
The lead singer is pretty great. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, yeah.
He just passed away too, unfortunately. Rest in
Yeah,
peace.
R.I.P.
Trevor, but different Trevor. This is called Warborn. Alright.
Yeah, Black Dahlia Murders, man.
This is the Nocturnal album. It's the last track of their album. It's called Warborn. And yeah, the whole album is just a good, solid album with a lot of death metal riffs with some screamo, and then we'll do some really
How
nice...
many platinum records, Trevor? 1 out of 10.
I would give it like a solid 8 or 9, honestly. It was good.
I'd give it like a nice 7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good.
7 or 8 platinum albums.
Yeah, no, it was
folks.
good. They're a really good band. I'm glad. There are certain metal bands that are huge, like Five Finger Dick Punch. I mean, 500 Death Punch. I'm sorry.
Nope, they're changing their name,
Dick
folks.
Punch. I hate
You
that
heard it here
band.
first. Five Finger Dick
yes,
Punch.
I hate that band, and that's a band that is big, but I don't understand why. Where there's certain bands that are big, I understand. Like Slipknot, for our generation, Slipknot killed it.
So I think that I just wanted to say
Black
one
Dahlia
thing
Murder
about
kills
Black.
it.
I just wanted to say one thing about the Black Dahlia Murders
Go on.
and Nocturnal.
Go on.
The lead singer was great. You know, R.I.P. for sure.
Oh yeah.
And he did a lot of transitional screaming. That sometimes when you have a lot of screaming in a song or in a specific album, it can suffer one way or the other. Yeah, it'll either get like too choppy and too understandable, or it'll become really high pitched and kind of whiny sometimes. It's like finding that middle ground between the growl and the high pitched scream, and you know.
It's tricky, really doing the whole like going between.
There's a lot of groups that have 2 singers usually, because one will do a deeper growl and then one will do a higher scream, you know. But there are some people that do great transitions behind it, and this singer, it was amazing. Five Finger Dick Punch. Their one song that I really did love when they first came out, and it was their first hit, was The Bleeding. That one was okay. After that, they just started to try to find their niche, doing like supporting troops songs, like
kind of
Bad Company. The whole video is them like on a troop tour or something.
They were kind of following the footsteps of like what Godsmack did, but I actually like Godsmack a lot more than them. But
I don't really like Godsmack too much. I think
I would rather
probably
listen to them. I would rather listen to them as like Godsmack or Five Finger Death Punch. I would pick Godsmack every single time.
I think the problem with Five Finger Dick Punch is that the main dude, I forget his name, it's like Lars or some shit.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't know the lead singer's name.
They're European. They're a European band.
But he he gets wasted all the time, man. There's a lot of like stories of him on the road where he's just not able to perform, where he's on the stage just fucked up. And I think that was something that Corey Taylor figured out like early on in his career, because I think the first few years Slipknot, all their shows, they were just wasted, and they had a lot of like infighting and fucking problems between each other.
Sober
but once they all got sober, most of them, you know what I mean, it started to bring a better dynamic to the group.
Looking through the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Black Dahlia Murder is awesome. Five Finger Death Punch has some cool videos, but their music isn't great.
Black Dahlia Murder, great band. That's who we're talking about. And there you go. Check them out. They're a good band.
Also, check out Korn. And I'm not talking about your local grocery store. I'm talking Korn with a K.
Or the guy that has a farm where he's growing corn, but you should go visit the guy anyway. Don't fuck his daughter, or do. But yeah.
Okay.
What's up, Sweet Dent Corn?
What's up, sweetness? That's what I call corn.
Yeah. So there's our album review, and next time we'll have a completely different genre. I promise.
I'll be right back.
All right. So I'll keep rolling the shit mobile, I guess. All right. So I hope everyone's doing good, and we're now gonna talk about life, I guess, for a moment.
Damn, Trevor. Come on, man. Keep the people entertained.
I got it. All right. Oscar Octavian, the Orange Ostentatious Ostrich, was ostracized in the Ottoman Orchestra. There's one I made up a while ago. Tongue twister. But anyways,
it's okay, folks. He's special needs.
I'm retarded?
No, you're not retarded. You're special.
Oh, you're special too, bud.
You're special.
Hey, you're so bright that your daddy used to call you son.
Aww.
Aww.
Aww. That's a real moment there, folks.
Coming at you live. Hey, you're so hot that you might as well be walking on the sun.
No shout out to Smash Mouth, man. What the fuck happened to those guys?
They had a brief period of okayness, of goodness. Like late 90s, early 2000s, a brief period. And then
they came out with All Star, and they came out with Walking on the Sun.
And maybe a couple other
songs.
That's it.
And nobody knows anything but All Star, pretty much.
Or Walking on the Sun. Like
maybe,
those two.
Maybe.
Those two.
But yeah, no. It's crazy, man. Smash Mouth, and then they go on this whole rant about fuck COVID. They were at Sturgis.
Were they?
Yeah, they were at Sturgis last year, and they were all like, fuck COVID, fuck Fauci.
That's so funny.
Don't believe it all. And I'm like,
Smash Mouth.
Shut up and play All Star, man. Who the fuck are you?
Or Walking on the Sun. What else are you gonna do? What else are you gonna do?
Yeah. If you're an artist and you start trying to get all political and you've never ever fucking had a foot in the door of politics, just shut up. You have no reason to be speaking.
Unless you're Rage Against the Machine. Only exception.
Anybody can talk about politics.
Or
have an
rock.
idea of what the fuck you're talking about, though.
Yeah, I mean, punk rock was a whole genre.
Don't just go with what your crowd's gonna appreciate.
Yeah. I mean, punk rock was a whole thing where they talked about politics, but they were a lot more serious than Smash Mouth.
Kid Rock, he's a perfect example. Kid Rock is a crazy example.
I bet you he was at Sturgis.
Of a dude that was all against the system and against, conformity and bullshit. And he was about, I'm from Detroit and shit. And then all of a sudden,
I'm a redneck from the hood. Like, that was his whole thing.
Yeah, and now he's a conservative guy that owns a trailer and fucking has a bunch of gold watches and gold shit. And
very
a bunch
nice
of,
trailer, mind you.
Very nice trailer.
I've seen a picture.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I've seen it too.
The trailer you and I would ever afford, probably.
But I don't understand how you go from being like, my name is Kid Rock,
I have one word
to being like,
pussy.
No, it's money. It's all money. Because he realized at a point he was becoming irrelevant. So he had to find another niche. It's the same thing that fucking, you know the guy from, shit, I'm stoned.
Who?
I was gonna say Stevie Ray Vaughan, but I was like,
What
that
the
is totally wrong.
I'm
No.
gonna be out of anger now.
No.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, no. Stevie Ray Vaughan, the sky is crying.
Stranglehold. Who does Stranglehold?
Ted Nugent.
Fucking Nugent. There it is.
Please don't put Stevie Ray
No,
Vaughan.
no, I'm stoned. That was what I was just saying. But no,
Please do not compare Ted Nugent to
Nugent
Stevie Ray
did the
Vaughan.
same thing. He
Yes.
fucking realized he was out of fucking the cool scene.
Also a white guy
And
from Detroit as well.
He
Just
got
like
into
Kid Rock.
fucking a lot of guns, and he got into a lot of right-wing crazy conspiracy shit.
He's also a white guy from Detroit, just like Kid Rock. But
What the fuck is Detroit pumping in the water? Oh, don't ask Flint, Michigan. Don't ask Flint, Michigan.
Hey, you wanna know other angry white guys from there? Fucking Eminem, Insane Clown Posse. And if you want to go to the original, Kiss, also got
Detroit Rock City.
Yep. And MC5, which is a big punk band, one of the early punk bands. Like there was also the
Maybe
whole,
we should just shut down Michigan.
I
We should shut down Michigan.
Also
Let's
Motown.
shut down Michigan.
also the whole,
We're gonna
like,
start
Motown, the whole
we're gonna
Motown.
start a movement to shut down Michigan.
I'm sure people in Michigan.
Nothing
would help
good
us.
comes out of Michigan.
Oh, music wise, I mean Motown came. A lot of good like Motown and funk came out of there.
Yeah, they were like, "Come on, boys, you want to record a record? You only got to give me half." Yeah.
Homies, gonna steal all your shit.
ICP's a weird group too.
Oh man, now Detroit weirdness.
Like they
They are
probably
the
do
kings
have.
of weird
Well, I
Detroit.
bet they have some of the best like live concerts and shows with all their fans there. You know, it's probably fun as fuck.
And you're doing drugs.
Yeah, of course, you're high on fucking
Some
whatever,
fat,
nitrous
weird,
or some shit.
Fat weird chick is sucking you off in a porta potty.
Some fat chick's just showing you her tits, and you're just like, all right.
And she's like, "Want to go to a porta potty? Like, why not?"
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't go to a porta potty at a fucking ICP show though.
Oh, they're gonna tip you over.
That would have to be
They would tip you over.
Well, it would have to be one of those things where it was like emergency. Like I gotta shit right now.
Or else
I'd have to find a tree or something, bro. I'd have to find a tree or some shit. And it's like if you were to go to the gathering of the Juggalos, I don't think it'd be as big of a deal. Just go and take a shit behind a tree.
I love this juggalo conversation that I spawned. Yes. All right. What up, ninjas? Also, shout out to SNL for doing a very funny cover of a ICP song called "Miracles," which was a funny song that made it really big a while ago, but it was one of their last really big hits. Is called "Miracles," and it's them just talking about science and life. But they were really silly about it because it's ICP for you. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
But yeah, SNL did a really funny. Just look up SNL Insane Clown Posse spoof of Miracles. I think I've showed you. It's hilarious.
You remember, I was telling you about how on the bonfire they were talking about how ICP did a movie, Big Money Rustlers.
Yeah, you told me the cowboy movie.
Yeah, where,
didn't you say
where
you watched it?
Shaggy Two Dope is like the sheriff or something, and then
What does Violent J do?
And Violent J is like the corrupted town owner. He's like, "This is my town, and you ain't going to have nothing in it."
Have you seen this?
I've watched like clips.
Could we do this for a movie review in the future?
Yeah.
future.
Next episode, folks, we'll watch Big Money Rustlers.
The ICP Western
movie
by
and
Insane
then-
Clown Rustlers.
Yeah, and then we'll give you a thing on that because I've seen clips of it. I've never actually watched the whole movie.
I heard about it. I didn't know they'd done it. I'm sure I know people that were methed out under a bridge.
But it's just
on
a
their phone
weird.
watching
It's
it,
a
so
weird
yeah.
movie with them in clown makeup and a couple of people doing weird characters like old Western types.
That's funny.
It's like, "This is my girlfriend Jezebel."
Jezebel.
Yeah, and she's like she's a clown for some reason. Or
Big
something.
tits, big titty clown.
Yeah, she's in a bustier or whatever. Yeah, folks. So that'd be cool. But what was the movie we had watched the other day, Trevor?
It was Swiss Army Man.
That is right.
Daniel Radcliffe, who was formerly Harry Potter, and another gentleman who has also been.
He was
movies.
in There Will Be Blood. He was Daniel.
He was the preacher that got murdered.
He was also in Little Miss Sunshine. He was the colorblind brother that wanted to be a pilot and found out he was colorblind.
I've not seen that. But yeah, a very hardcore indie film.
Very indie.
I won't be too.
That's a great description of it, man.
I won't be too negative because I'm trying to be a positive person, but it was very indie and it was a little out of our boundaries of like
comfortability, I guess.
Indiness, and I'm a very.
I think there's a couple different kind of indie films though. Like there are certain ones that you're like, whoa.
Into the Wild. Have you seen that, Into the Wild?
Yeah.
That was an indie film that like
was whoa. Yeah,
I loved it.
Cool. Very cool.
It was a badass movie. This guy who's like, I'm just gonna be a traveling tramp. And
I think that a lot of times when you do these indie films, people want to like push an envelope or they want to like say
agenda.
Something.
Yeah, there's a certain agenda.
Which I think movies should just say it without somebody having to force that. You know what I mean? Like you should just feel the way you feel about a movie, and it shouldn't have to be implied.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I think this movie fucked up on. They were trying to push some weird points. So let's go on about how he initially finds the character of Daniel Radcliffe.
So the main character is what we at first assume is a stranded, evergreen forested beach off the Pacific Northwest. He's about to commit suicide off a mini cooler. He has rope tied. He starts singing a song off key. He sees a dead body wash ashore. He forgoes trying to commit suicide, but he slips, starts choking.
Well, he first he hears the body fart.
Yes, he hears the body fart, and then the rope breaks, so he doesn't die right then and there.
He tries to get off the cooler, but he slips and he starts to hang himself.
But the rope is shitty enough. It's old, water-worn rope, so it breaks. And it's also very corrosive, so it breaks, and he finds the body.
Yeah.
And he, from then and there, has adventures, and the dead body...
Well, tell him how they got off the island.
So the dead body, Daniel Radcliffe's character, and what's his character? You remember his character's name?
Manny,
that's right. What's the other guy's name?
I don't know.
Okay, so Manny.
I forget.
I do too. So they start talking and realizing that that Manny has some superpowers and that his fart is propulsive, so he rides him like a jet ski off this coast to another portion. So we're like, okay, he's just running around doing some wild.
So he rides him like a jet ski,
like a sea-doo. It's like
to a fucking forest-like area.
Well, to another part of the coast that's also redwood, where it's like evergreens.
It really looks northwest.
I promise you, they filmed it probably Northern California, Oregon, or Washington, or maybe British Columbia, because British Columbia also has that. So
a lot of look like that.
But Pacific Northwest.
It looked northwest where he washed up.
Where we're living right now.
So what ends up happening is that he starts to look for civilization. He has a little bit of battery on his phone. He has 10%, but he has no cell signal, so he can't quite make a call yet.
True.
But he has to go and survive the night. So he finds himself a little cave. He finds some garbage that people had left behind, some things he can use. And then I guess he tries to start surviving in the fucking woods for a day or two. But he goes beyond that once he starts talking to the dead body, doesn't he?
He does.
So what happens when he starts talking to him, Trevor? Does he talk back?
Yes, he talks back and they have conversations and then become friends, and from there they actually become lovers.
But here's the weird part, is that he's like retarded. He starts out like a child. He has to be taught everything.
Manny's character.
Yeah, the dead guy, Daniel Radcliffe.
The dead guy that starts to come back to life starts from like a child and then progresses.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit some highlights in this because we're dragging on. This dude has a dick compass
Magic dancing dick compass that leads him to where it is
civilization.
His arm can karate chop through very thick branches.
He's a wood chopper. He's a fucking axe.
He also can shoot things out of his mouth like rocks, like a gun.
Yeah. He has a crazy grip, like that can break wood and stuff.
He also has the farting that can use propulsive like jet ski or other things.
What ends up happening is they start to live somehow in this forested area, and they start to build a life around this fantasy of a girl. What we hadn't realized is that the main character, has this girl that he's practically been stalking. It's this girl in his phone. So
that he rides the bus with.
That he rides the bus with like a loser. Sorry, folks.
So
Trevor just gave me a look.
I also ride the city bus. Shout out people who ride the city bus.
But he ends up stalking her. He had previously stalked this woman. Why he was there to kill himself, I think he couldn't handle who he was. But he wanted to live, and he taught Manny all about this girl. They built like a fake life in the woods together, where he would come on this imaginary bus and Manny would pretend to talk to her. They basically began to fall in love with their characters that they were playing in the woods. So, cut to a short time later, there's a bear attack. One of the main characters is attacked by a bear, not the dead guy. And then the dead guy somehow transports him to civilization. So he walks this guy into a backyard, and it is the backyard of the woman that he had been pining over or stalking. And they meet her daughter.
Yes.
Then what happens, Trevor?
And then as they find them at the yard, the magic compass cock starts dancing around in front of the
Scares
child.
the little girl.
Scares the little girl, gets immediately pedophile vibes immediately. And at that point,
the woman comes out.
And then
sees they're both injured.
And then calls
the police.
She doesn't talk to Manny because, well, I'll say in a moment, but she doesn't talk to Manny, she just talks to the other guy, and then you finally realize, like, okay, the other guy has actually been dead the whole time. It's all been the other guy's head.
Yeah.
So it was definitely like I see dead people sort of shit.
Well, what ends up happening is this is a really fucking weird movie. Daniel Radcliffe did a good job playing a dead guy. It's called Swiss Army Man.
So he
on a scale 1 out of 10, it was 2. It was a very weird movie. I think it was a little out of our depth.
But at the end, they're like, "Hey, your friend is dead. You're crazy."
Yeah, they basically,
and he escapes and rides him like a jet ski, and then they get to the ocean, and then Manny just farts his way like a jet ski off into the sunset.
Here's the other part that I never understood.
The dad smiling.
Well, they were 10 feet from civilization the whole time.
Yes.
Okay,
the whole
so
time.
Practically, folks.
Maybe 100 feet, but they were just
100 feet.
They were the edge of the woods, right outside.
This woman's backyard.
Her backyard happened to be some redwoods right on the ocean. Which I've lived in Humboldt County in that area. That is the case where
they did a lot of traveling to get to her house, but when they eventually found they chase. He steals the dead body. He runs down a ravine through the area where they had built all this fake bus shit and all this fucking fake love story shit. And then they see what he's built and they're all blown away by it. But yeah, I don't know. Really weird film, man. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it.
Very true.
I could not figure out if they were gay lovers or if they were best friends
it definitely made you question if they were,
or if this dude was even sane.
Or the other dude was dead, so definitely some homosexual necrophilia sort of themes, activities going on.
It culminates in him farting in front of a bunch of people to prove that he is no longer afraid of being himself. and then the body comes back to life after not be. It's a whole fucking thing, folks. I'm not going to spend any more brain matter or airwave time talking about it. Fuck that movie.
Yeah. Fuck that movie. Agreed.
We'll come back with a better movie. We're going to watch
Yes.
Big Money Rustlers.
That will probably be smoother. All right. Moving on. So, you want to do a current events? I
got one. I got one that'll stomp anything you got.
All right, big guy. Go ahead.
So today, unfortunately, I'm very sad to bring this news. At the age of 67, Ray Liotta is dead.
Oh, the actor. From
Yeah,
Goodfellas.
from Goodfellas.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He's been in other stuff, too.
Yeah, he was in Goodfellas. He was in Copland. That was a movie with Sylvester Stallone where he was a cop. And
yeah, no, I've seen Copland.
yeah, there was a lot of movies where Ray Liotta... He was in Hannibal. I just got done watching Hannibal recently. He was the guy who Hannibal fed his brain to him. Ray Liotta died today. He was at 67. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. That's a somber moment. He was a great actor, great man. Did a lot for the Italian community, I think.
He's a famous actor, Italian
Great
American actor. Italian American actor. Yeah, no, I like him.
Great
as an actor.
actor. Always played in some great roles. He had a lot of weird roles. Some movies he did, but he played in some amazing fucking movies.
He's been acting.
He will always be remembered in Goodfellas. He will never not be fucking remembered.
Yeah, he's been acting since I think since the 70s, so he's been around a long time.
Yeah.
Damn.
So Ray Liotta has passed away today. R.I.P. Ray Liotta, man.
I like that actor, man.
He was
Damn
awesome.
it. Well, that just took a depressing turn.
Not at all, folks. Death is just another part of life.
Anyways.
It's celebrated very heavily in the Mexican tradition.
Yeah. So why is socialism so popular, bud?
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says.
Dr. Souza.
Dr. Souza.
So I got one that's a little more lighthearted, a little more earthy, you could say. It'll definitely flower up some good topics.
Hey,
we'll brighten
let's,
things up.
Let's seed what you're talking about.
Oh, I mean, so I'm going to talk about some. So we are in the Pacific Northwest. We're in Eugene, Oregon, and we're an hour east of Florence, which is on the coast.
Yeah,
and it's north central Oregon.
they got a fucking casino.
They got a casino, but we're at that point you're just 2 hours south of the Oregon-Washington border, like Astoria and all that. So Florence is famous because they have some of the largest sand dunes in America, and I've actually went and seen them. They're amazing. And you can literally just camp, or be like me, just be a poor motherfucker at the time that just staggered over there. They got a ride and just staggered through dunes like I did, and it's beautiful. Just gigantic dunes, ocean, Forest Service lands. So you can pretty much, if you find the right spot, you can camp for free.
Sure. Camping for free is pretty dope.
Which is what I did, and I found some spots up the forest road a little bit too. Because I've had to camp in the forest a few times in the past. So, by the way,
gotta camp sometimes.
Yeah, if you gotta camp, folks, go to Forest Service land. It's cheaper. It's
Please
easier.
be safe.
Be safe. But yeah, as when we were shooting and shit, like that's areas I've had to camp before. It was just Forest Service land. But there's areas out there you can go, and out there, which just happened last week, was the Rhododendron Festival. Rhododendron is a large, beautiful, usually reddish or purple flower.
Very cool.
There are 1,024 different species, apparently.
You know, we're fans of flowers.
Hell yeah. It's also in the heath family, which is a type of flower.
All right.
It is originally from Asia, but came over here.
Okay.
And there's a giant festival that happens
here
in
a
Florence, and it just happened last week.
Oh, nice.
And apparently it was 115th anniversary. It's the second oldest flower festival in Oregon.
Oh yeah, rhododendrons.
After the one in Portland, and the third oldest in the West Coast after the one in Pasadena.
There's your weird Trevor fact, folks.
Yeah. Shit I just learned really fast.
There you go.
But yeah, it's a festival where you have... They're celebrating all the flowers because it's in a temperate climate.
Yeah.
And they can... Along the Pacific Northwest, there are a lot of flowers in different communities that are grown because the climate's right for it. They can handle the salt. It's never too hot or cold, but it gets cool and rainy and gets I guess humid and warmish in the summertime. But
I love how he's explaining weather.
Yes, doing that. I'm not exactly sober. All right.
That's how we live our lives, folks. Not
Pretty
exactly
much.
sober.
We get it done. So they have like a farmer's market. They sell flowers, obviously, but they also have a Queen and King of the Coast sort of like beauty pageant thing. They do a 5K roadie run.
People dress up like flowers?
I'm not sure. But they also have a carnival. They also have a classic car show, the Roadie Classic Car Show and Shine.
I bet it's a very 50 and above club.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah. It's not like a bunch of young people are going out.
No, if you and I rolled up with a car, they'd be like, "What are you young fucks doing here?"
We're here for the rhododendrons, bro. Crack a beer and shotgun it in front of them.
Yeah! And then we just whip out a rhododendron flower. What the fuck is up, plants?
We're up for the flower festival.
And we start
contest.
smoking other flowers. Yeah, they'd be like, "What are you doing here, damn hippies?"
It's okay. It's just what you think. We're here to fuck shit up.
Hell yeah. But it's along the coast there.
All right, Trevor. All
All
right. I got to cut him off, folks.
Right.
He does this sometimes. He just goes on and on and
So
on.
does
When
Chris.
He should really find a way to wrap a subject.
So does Chris.
Who does Chris? So does what?
All right, what's yours, bud?
What's mine?
Yeah.
It was quick and fast. Ray Liotta died.
Yeah.
This guy's been talking about weather, flowers, dunes.
I've made people's lives right now, bud, all right?
Anywho, next subject.
Old people humor. That's something I wrote down.
Old people humor, huh?
You and I both work
Stay off
over...
the grass, sonny.
Hey, you're a young, strong man. You might be a little tired, but I know you can move
You
this
know
butt.
who was probably a piece of shit neighbor?
Who?
Was that fucking, Mr. Wilson. Who the fuck was that kid? Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, Dennis the Menace's neighbor. The old, grumpy man that
Would
just
you
hated
imagine
everything.
that just you're an old man in your retirement trying to relax and just, not fight with your wife probably. And then you got this fucking neighbor kid that's just bullying you pretty much. That shit wouldn't fly today, man. That little kid would get canceled. That kid is a fucking bully and his parents aren't doing anything about it. He just shows up every week in the newspaper with another sketch.
Yeah, no, his parents definitely needed to beat him more. Not that I'm promoting.
There's always a character like that, though, like a Bart Simpson character.
Yeah, Bart Simpson character, whereas in real life, I'm sure, like, Chris and I both can agree that if we were to act like Dennis the Menace or Bart Simpson, there'd be a...
Some kids need beatings, folks.
Yes, and I definitely, when I was out of line, I was hit.
We are pro beating your children.
To a degree. Just a little bit.
We are pro.
Just a little bit. Just enough. Because we were both
not leaving any specific marks.
Yes. But like you and I, like if we fucked up, like all right, you want to play stupid games, you're gonna win stupid prizes. You know what I mean? Like there was a certain point, like oh, well, you're not gonna eat this tonight. Then I guess, well, I guess you're gonna. This is gonna happen, right? Oh, you're gonna get hit real quick, but you were fucking up.
Old people humor. Bingo. Bingo's a funny one.
I've heard old people talk about bingo. They also love to talk about the weather.
There is an
to
awesome,
unproportioned amounts, they love to talk about the weather. Talk to old people the weather, you will get a lifelong conversation.
There was an awesome episode of The Simpsons where I think Lisa was volunteering at the fucking
old folks'
people's
home. Yeah, I saw that with you.
She was playing bingo, or she was calling out bingo, and one of the old people go, "You sunk my battleship," and they all started to laugh.
Yeah, I've seen
And then
that.
they call out the next number, and he does it again, and they
Yep.
all start to laugh, and it's because they're senile. It's hilarious. Senility's got to be a fucking hard thing to deal with.
Alzheimer's, senility.
Forgetting about who the fuck's everybody and who did what.
And forgetting everyday things, like at a very progressive rate all the time. No, it's a thing.
I've been lucky enough that most of the time the people in my life that get that old, they still to somewhat have their wits about them before they die. But yeah, I've never had to experience that where somebody is like slowly fading and they just don't remember you. That's got to be so difficult.
I had that with my grandpa right before he died.
Yeah, where they're just forgetting everything.
I was there his last 3 days of his life.
Yeah.
He's a World War II vet.
Right.
He was 93, and I
Right.
was there the last 3 days of his life. I literally I had to borrow some money to get out here because I couldn't afford time. Took a plane ticket out there. Because he literally begged me. Like, he had a hard time talking, but yeah, he begged me to come out there right before he died. And yeah, it was hard to see him, like, not remember things or really be able to talk or move when, like, this motherfucker would literally be dropping trees and doing badass shit at the age of 80.
Fucking bitches and
Yeah.
punching cops.
Yeah, this man was like, he would literally, like, he would, even when
That's
he was...
grandpa for you. He's
Even-
always chopping trees,
Yeah.
fucking bitches, and knocking out cops.
Even when he was 80, the motherfucker would sit down in his porch that he built, and he would sit in his underwear, a cowboy hat, and an open beer. And then he
he'd
would do some shit, and then he'd be like, Trevor, we're gonna work on the tractor, we're gonna like do some shit. And it would always be interesting. He'd play polka music way too loud.
Sounds like you had a good time with
I
him.
loved it. He also had an underground illegal barbershop, redneck barbershop. I don't know if I ever told you, in his barn because in Minnesota state law you couldn't have you couldn't have a business
In a residence.
In a residence. So he had this farm because he had been a barber for
Years
since
and
World War
years.
II.
Yeah.
He had been a barber, and he also been a farmer. But the barber was like a side thing.
Barber and a farmer and a farmer and a barber and a barber
The man
farmer.
did everything. Dude was a badass. Ray
That's
Wagner's man. But I remember one time the cops rolled up and him and all of his World War II buddies and old redneck buddies were we were over there and we had to like hide shit up real quick. He's like, Trevor, just we had to throw some drapes on. I had to sweep shit. He went out and bullshitted with them. And then they eventually left, but that was the thing because he'd been a barber, and the city ended up buying him out of this town he was in called Savage, Minnesota.
That's pretty savage.
Literally, his name was Savage. You've been there a long time.
As the young kids would say, that's savage.
But they bought up the area and tried to do some gentrification bullshit there.
Yeah, of course. That's what always happens to an area.
He was an old guy that wasn't making enough to stop what was happening, so they're like, "Oh, we can buy you out, and we're gonna build some fancier shit." Fuck you, old man, and that's what happened.
Oh, yeah.
What happens?
Says, you ain't standing in the way of my land development. I'm a big southern owner of land.
I'll say, this goddamn
I do declare, sir, get off of my new land.
This is the territory of go fuck yourself. These goddamn chicken hawks are gonna be flying around because the lazy hound dog ain't protecting what he needs to protect.
Ain't never hound dog, hounding all the time. Ain't never no friend of mine.
So yeah,
all right, man. Yeah.
we could also we could talk about how another local thing if you want. That's what I got.
Trevor's got a local news segment here.
So Chris and I for a period last year, but other periods too, having to camp around, but
Talking a lot of blood.
there was yes, you should see my arms. But yeah, I did a lot of bleeding for that period. My fingers pretty cool now, but
A lot of tampons, folks.
oh yeah, a lot of crying and cursing at God. But there's these two large bum camps on the north and south end of town, pretty much. And they got closed about 2 months ago. And it's very curious having to take the bus 5 days a week to work to my metal shop to the far west end of town. We're on the far east of town with the college and the hospital, University of Oregon. Point is, it's curious, like, what's happening to all these people? Where'd they go? Because I see a few of them, but like,
they moved along, man.
Where'd they go, though?
They disproportionately will kick people out of some areas, and then they'll just spread around. Here's my thing: is they are gentrifying the area that we live in.
We will not be able to afford this soon. Soon.
What I'm saying is that the homeless issue in this particular city has always been bad. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to force them further west.
Because further east you go into the Cascade Mountains. So
exactly.
It's not really feasible because there are no large cities the further east you go until you get to like literally Boise, Idaho, which is 200 to 300 miles east of here.
Alright. Yeah, Trevor's got to pee, folks. He's got a tiny bladder. He's got the bladder the size of a peanut.
I drank some alcohol.
He's always saying that his urine is uncontrollable, but I think he can control it. He's just got to believe in his dick. Believe in your dick. Believe in your dick. Believe in your dick. It's a beautiful day, folks. Sun's getting ready to set. It's been a nice day. It's a good day to be alive.
Yeah.
All right, Trevor, I'm about ready to wrap this one, man. What about you?
Yeah, me too.
All right. You gonna play us out here?
I'll play us out.
All right, folks. Here is Gorgeous George coming at you live. He's playing with his nipples. He's playing with his nipples.
I gotta drive my fingers.
He's got to play with his nipples. He peed on his hands.
Hell yeah.
That's how he gets calluses. You got to piss on your hands. There you go. All right, you saved it at the end.